Great to have you join us on another exciting episode of Art House. I'm Melinda Kinlami. Coming up on the program, we have the Eko Art and Design exhibition. Jacqueline Souwari is no stranger to the show, and the theme of this artist that she has been harping on makes his way to Lagos State in this touring exhibition. Then we head north as artists create awareness and send a strong message with the works of art displayed in Kaduna State. We have that and more after we hear from our wordsmith for this week.
Our wordsmith for today is called Frisk by Abu Eniojo. Always you say the words, and I smile sheepishly. Always you say them, and I believe happily. But there are times I wonder if they flow lovingly like blood. Maybe it's because I know you've become a chef of the same words you dish out on that road. But why? Why do I forgive you so easily when you artfully mink some words? Is it because I love you? Come, sit down here so I can frisk your heart with my so tender arms and see if the words are there.
Thank you for penning down those words. Now to our first feature. We begin from Kaduna, where an exhibition which has works of art done by several artists took place to create awareness about difficulty in learning.
A Mind Aware is an exhibition to raise awareness on dyslexia, a learning disability that includes difficulty in the use and process of linguistics, symbolic codes, alphabets, or reading, something this group intends to spotlight by organizing this group show in Kaduna.
By age 4, most children would have identified letters of the alphabet. Never mind whether the alphabet is Hausa alphabet, Igbo, or English. Whichever alphabet, by age 4, 5. But so if you now have a 4-year-old who has been exposed to some form of learning, whether you are using a slate or a flashcard, and the child is not recognizing the letters of the alphabet, despite adequate teaching, and other children are making progress, it's time to look. So what you will do now is, it's not just enough to say this person has dyslexia. You must also work hard to make sure there is no other medical condition causing it.
It affects 15 to 20% of the population. So that's 1 in every 5. Most probably have one form of dyslexia or the other. It's on the spectrum, so it can be from mild, average, and severe. It's specific learning difference where there's inability to process sound. So what they see isn't what they hear and isn't what they write down. So that's basically what dyslexia is.
This show, which features various paintings done by different artists, is to enlighten caregivers, encouraging them not to paint everyone with the same brush, as children learn at different paces. Those are some of the issues the artists have explored in these works of art.
The work you see behind me is called Sentence. It's supposed to show people what it is to be a dyslexic. Because when they hear dyslexia, it means it's just basically someone that has problems reading with words. So the work behind me just gives you a representation of what it might be like to read as a dyslexic.
It gives you an insight of what or how is it that dyslexic mind comprehends, you understand? At least you are going to understand that, okay, the candle is not looking straight in the dyslexic person's mind. So you have to help him turn around the candle to look the way it's supposed to be. You understand? The books are upside down, so you have to twist it for the dyslexic. At least this is going to create awareness, and it's also going to help make people understand what dyslexia is.
We're using art to, raise awareness in our community, to show that, art is so versatile and universal that it can really, pass information, regardless of, you don't even need to speak any particular language. By seeing the art, you already know what it's talking about. We have 8 creative artists, visual artists.
A lot of famous people in the world, like renowned physicist Albert Einstein, legendary boxer Muhammad Ali, and CEO Steve Jobs, never let any learning challenge stop in the way of their success.
There are people here, we can't just lump everybody and put it under one umbrella and say we're the same. That's what neurodiversity is all about. Dyslexia isn't a curse or a blessing, isn't positive or negative. It's just a diversity, meaning that there's a difference in the brain learning, and we have to teach them the way they will learn.
A lot of the artists here, they express themselves, based on their own genuine understanding of what dyslexia is. A lot of them, try to show, what a person that has dyslexia feels in their art. They show how the person is often misunderstood, alone and, neglected because, you can't physically see dyslexia. It's something that you just experience, and not many people know that, and they were able to express those through their, paint brushes.
That's why conversations like these are important. Putting it in a painting helps the viewer admire the creativity while taking the message within using art for social awareness.
From the north, we return south to Lagos for the Eko Design exhibition, which features not just art, but crafts.
Innovative ways of turning the most unusual materials into art and craft is what has been showcased in this Eko Art and Design exhibition, which features interesting concepts done by diverse creatives.
It's just majorly a solution to the compounding waste problem. People look at tires and they call it trash and stuff like that, and you see tires all around the road, with mosquitoes breeding inside water. I'm sure you have gone to places where you just see tires on the road and stuff, and this company started with 20 tires. We saw it and we were like, oh, this is nice, let's just upcycle this stuff, and we got tires, 20 tires that had mosquitoes and all these kind of things breeding in it, and then we brought it, cleaned it up, and said, oh yeah, let's make something ultra modern. So basically the first thing about these tires is that it solves a problem of pollution, so, and all those other things. So we don't want to pollute everywhere, so we just take tires and just work on it. The pandemic was a very, very deep conversation, because it affected lives. But beyond that, there were other problems too in the world. And if we also solve those problems too, it can easily, when we come from a pandemic, we can also ease into all these things. So like I said, the problem we solved was pollution. And pollution keeps happening, regardless of the pandemic or any time.
Besides showing how creatives are navigating their way through art in a pandemic by adopting unconventional methods like upcycling, which is turning waste to incredible art, others feel inspired by nature.
I really have this love for natural things, like having dried palms, dried plants, dried out and twisted and made into beautiful basket, beautiful design. You know, all these things are like mind-blowing, and you know, I just like things that are very, very unique. You know, things that like to stand out and all. Yeah. So basically, I feel like a lot of things inspired me. A lot of things, not just. But what actually started Wicker Basket was a particular basket. There's this basket, you know, that I've been looking to get here in Nigeria that I didn't get. So at the time, I was like, okay, if I'm having problems getting this basket, there are definitely a lot of people out there that, you know, are not able to get this basket. Let me get the basket and sell. So, you know, from there, I started getting to learn more about, you know, these things, basket. And from there, you know, furniture came in, and that's what we have here.
That it's very important that we do things that are indigenous, that are African. I really want Africans to appreciate our culture, our ethnicity, the things that we have. And so this was the reason, this is the inspiration that makes me want to create things that we can use using raw materials that we have here to produce beautiful things that people can enjoy in their spaces.
The aim is to highlight some of the best creations in Lagos, give creatives a platform to interact and meet new collectors.
The ministry really wants to emphasize, and Lagos State wants to really emphasize the fact that we need to patronize our own indigenous industries. And there's no need, in many cases, for us to go outside and import a lot of what you see here today. Much of this design is world class, produced here, and it's actually employing Lagosians and employing Nigerians. So this is part of how we develop our creative industries and how we develop our creative economy that supports so much of what happens in Lagos State. So that's really what this is about today.
We chose people that were just creating original pieces, be it from tire, be it from waste, be it from wood, reclaimed wood that is seen and used into furniture, because that's really what is around, you know. So we want people to just be creative about what they're doing. These people here are thinking about what they're doing and they're producing original pieces. And that's what we're trying to show, that people are actually doing great stuff we should actually encourage and promote.
This art and design exhibition is part of the Eko series, which celebrates the beauty of culture that shines through creativity in Lagos.
Nice one there. When Art House returns, this contemporary artist is still wearing herself as she shows the collection to a Lagos crowd in her touring exhibition. Join us again. These are the works of art you sent in this week. The works of art you sent in this week explore different types of issues. Like this one, done with acrylic on canvas, is called Setting Out. He captures the Ohafia war dance in Abia State. It's done by Blessings Like Bliss. Then Uche Obasi says, "The Lord is my shepherd," with this impressionism work of art. Ibitoye Emmanuel has child innocence and acrylic on canvas work. While this watercolor painting by George Abe is paying tribute to a veteran writer and human rights activist, Ken Saro-Wiwa. Joyful Expectation, done with acrylic and canvas by Yomi Awobusui. While Freedom is an oil on canvas work done by Banatbeshi Savita. While Dafe Soho calls this Aproko 5, is done with acrylic on canvas. Shade of Stillness is an acrylic on wallpaper work done by Ifeanyi Ejiofor. While another animal lover is Previous Maziva with this pastel on paperwork called Hornbill. Then Fuzimo Inivora has this acrylic on canvas work from the Beauty series, but this one is untitled. And that wraps up the works of art you sent in this week. We appreciate you for sending them in and encourage you to keep them coming.
The artist has a duty to draw attention to these details of nature, as the answers we often seek are in details provided by nature.
Now I Wear Myself is an exhibition by contemporary artist Jacqueline Souwari. I'm sure you've heard that before on this show, but this time around she's displaying these works of art, which include portraits, paintings and installations, and a performance to a Lagos crowd.
This touring exhibition of her large-sized images has found its way from the nation's capital to the commercial city of Lagos. The theme is unchanged as artist Jacqueline Souwari is revealing her paintings, installations and performance art at the African Artists Foundation.
The reason why I chose the title Now I Wear Myself is because I want people to live their most authentic lives. I believe that in this world we are put here like a puzzle, there's a giant puzzle, and if everybody is shaped in a unique way, and if we're able to bring what we were created with to the table, the world will be a better place.
Using 1,000 ballpoint strokes, which she calls layering, the artist captures human feelings and emotions by expressing their many forms as they engage and navigate society.
I use a ballpoint pen to draw because I appreciate the uniqueness of a stroke. And I think that that is what everybody here has been put on planet Earth for, to make your mark. I enjoy the layering and overlapping of the strokes because I believe that each stroke is representative of an experience, and all these experiences come together to form somebody's character. The reason why I still stick to my pen, irrespective of other media in art, is because I want people to appreciate the uniqueness of the style, at the same time think of it as a metaphor for how they can also leave their own mark in the sands of time.
while these installations suspended above the ground still take that formative technique, encouraging people to be true to themselves and not to try to be crowd pleasers.
It's more or less like calling every one of us to begin to have a definitive approach to what we do. And in defining it, it shouldn't be what the society defines for you. It should be what you define for yourself, right from your intuition. That is from the inside to the outside. If you look at the various artworks that the artist has done, a lot of them they all have stories behind them. And there are stories that are enough to inspire every one of us. Just like she said, each of these artworks represent one of us, represent each of us. So what do? We have to go and find ourselves. We have to start proudly wearing ourselves.
The artist has a sit-down with art patrons to explain the idea behind the exhibits to a curious audience intrigued by her concept.
This particular piece is something that is so powerful to me and inspires me every day, because you have to keep moving irrespective of what comes your way.
The highlight of the event is a performance involving the artist, which reveals her versatility and ability to embrace and utilize her many God-given talents.
Sometimes the weight you need to lose is not on your body. A face can tell a story without whispering a single word. Wear your victories. Wear your battle scars. Wear yourself. Wear yourself. Wear your struggles. Wear your dreams. Take pride in who you are. And always remember, there is no courage without fear.
Talk about a two-in-one show, making it an interesting one for those curious art lovers there. Well done. And we have more when Art House comes up next time.
On the next edition of Art House, the content. The second Harmattan edition features works of art done by several artists, including veteran Bruce Onobrokbaya in Lagos. From that group to solo exhibitions like Vision in Color by Gbemisola Falaye at the Sweet Art Studio. Rhythms of Time, a painting and portrait exhibition by Ebele Ukaegbu at Didi Museum. Tune into the program to enjoy that and more. Remember to visit our YouTube page to see all other episodes of Art House.
Your Art House experience doesn't have to end when the show is not on television. Interact with us on our various social media platforms. See any edition of Art House on our website or YouTube page. Join our very interactive Facebook page by joining the group on Art House on Channels. We're everywhere.
That's the program today. It's always a pleasure spending time with you. And do remember to keep up with the conversation by going online to any of our social media pages, especially YouTube, where you can see this and other episodes of Art House. I'm Melinda Kinlami. Do stay safe and keep being creative.